I was recently having a conversation with someone with regards to why is it that people, don't change their course of direction once they realize or they've heard or they've come to the understanding that the path or choice that they're on is wrong, is not going to bear any fruit. Uh, why is it that people, and we've all experienced this, at least I've experienced it, and the person that I was speaking to, they experienced this, but uh, you got to understand that when somebody has invested something, uh, especially if it's this what the world can give you, because it definitely can satisfy your flesh, and it can give you the false sense that you are successful when in fact you failed. You have people on social media today that are bragging about being homeless because we know that we have a rental crisis. We have a interest rate crisis where interest rates for 30 and 40 and 50-year mortgages, and it's at an all-time high. uh, Car uh, prices to finance a car, uh, they're at 72, 86. You can finance a vehicle now for 5, 8 years, 10 years in this day and age, and those interest rates are high. You have a rental problem, and those expenses have gone up significantly. But you have people today that are homeless, and they're bragging because they understand that they cannot afford rent or mortgage, or they can't afford these expenses anymore. So what they're doing is they're turning around and they're bragging that they're able to eat steak dinners out every day because they don't have to pay for rent. That they don't have to deal with the vigors of maintaining a property or anything like that. So therefore, they can live in their rented car, and they can go and have steak dinners. This is the kind of content that you're seeing today, and it's when people are that far gone. There's pretty much nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can say. There's no amount of information that you can give to them that's going to change how they feel. They just have to deal with the repercussions, and the repercussions of not being responsible is you can find yourself living in your car. Now, people fall on hard times. Yes, people. A series of unfortunate events may happen in people's lives, but personally, I've seen that I've yet to see one scenario where that is the case. That's just my personal experience after talking to people, uh, understanding where they come from, what they're doing, all of this information, and people made a choice and decision. They have to live with it. But again, I'll go back. I digress. I'm sorry, but we go back to people that understood that, okay, the information that they're being presented goes against their lifestyle. It goes against the course and direction in terms of their life. And in order to get on the right course and direction, they're going to have to change. They're going to have to get off that road and seek another path, a higher path. And again, a reason why a lot of people don't change their direction in life is because they're too far invested. They spent a lot of time in their career. They spent a lot of time in their education. They spent a lot of time in the construct of what they built when it comes to their life. And this is how they perceive and define success. But the numbers tell a totally different or paints a different picture. However, these people, they're not going to change because it's going to be too painful. I come from Like I said, city, I had a rental property. I had a great career. Before working from home was a trend. I was working from home. As a matter of fact, when I look at it, the vast majority of my career uh, in corporate America was working from home, working remote jobs because I was client facing. I had to travel a lot. I had a laptop and everything, so I had to travel. But uh, a lot of people, they're not going to walk away from their homes. They're not going to walk away from their careers. They're not going to walk away from their family. They're not going to walk away from their lifestyle. They're not going to walk away from their luxuries because it is going to require a not only a spiritual change but a physical one. Because we have a lot of people today that believe that they can do something or they can walk in higher path, much less walk what the word says and live it. What they think they can do it in their current construct. They firmly believe that nothing about their lives has to change. And this is the second segment of people, but they feel as though nothing about their life has to change, and they can continue on living the same way that they're living, in the exact environment that they're living, doing the same thing, and not be grieved in the spirit when they see all this idolatry that has been presented to them. And now they know the knowledge of the truth, but now they got to change that, turn their eye away from it. So these two subsets of people, well, the first one was, the people that's just not going to receive it in the first place, and then the people, that receive it, but do not change because they're too invested in this life, and they feel as though they're either too invested in this life to change, or they feel as though that they can continue on in this newness of life in their current state without changing anything about who they associate with, the type of information that they take in, whether music or books, the kind of way that they eat, how they worship, who they associate with, all of these things, they don't want to give none of that up. So what they're going to do, these people, what they're going to do is they're going to continue on in their current life. Or they may give up a little bit here and there, but the idea is to keep their construct in order, not to change anything about what their current situation is. Although claiming or wanting or desiring, or they really don't desire it. They just front like they desire to live a different life, a high, walking a higher path. So these people, they're not going to do it. This is why they're not going to walk away from their current life. They're too far invested. It's too luxurious. It's too comfortable. They're not willing to make that sacrifice so that they can put in the work. And as a direct result of putting in that work, they can be blessed with a nice, good life, provided that they're willing to work hard and sacrifice now. It's all about delayed gratification. But if you stick with it, if you keep on and you keep pressing on, you'll be able to get to that point. He's talking about forsaking all, right? And then, if you forsake all, he'll give you back that and then some. He'll give you the increase, but you have to be diligent and obedient and consistent, persistent, and willing to sacrifice, willing to go through those trials and those tribulations. I tell you, in closing, it's amazing, right? When you work with the labor of your hands, something's constantly happening. I mean, I recently smashed, you see that? I don't know if you see that right there. I smashed my finger with a piece of wood, and it broke off and it pained for days, and it's healing and stuff, and hey, it is what it is. And then you see that right there? You see that? That was a deep gash right there, and I just still feel it today, and I was fixing something. you're going to get pain. The pain is going to continue to come. And I can go on about scratches and lacerations, and I tell you, stitches and everything. I mean, I can go on and on about the pain in these hands, but it's going to happen. Endure. It's a part of the process. People are willing to suffer spiritually, emotionally, psychologically in this world as a direct result of experiencing and dealing with the challenge that they deal with, but they've decided that they're going to continue to deal with because it's more palatable than a cut in the hand.